as many of you found out, our dog Dani and Bella, I'm gonna word it as finally got into it. Their dog has been coming, big Shepard, y'all hear me talking about, comes down the road. And their owner goes to the mailbox at the end of the road, and he always has her off a leash. And we tell him repeatedly the past almost 5 years that, you know, she comes in our yard and she barks in our dog's face. If they get into a fight, it's not going to be fair because our dog's on a cable. And as also many of you know, we've been working on this fence the past couple of weeks, and we need to find money to get the gates and the dog grade wire to go around it to keep her enclosed, because it's not fair for Dani to be on a cable, especially when we have a German Shepherd up the hill coming down and barking at her off a leash. So last night when we got home from my daughter's I Do barbecue, I came in because my stepdad had just arrived and he was out of his Tahoe, and he came up the walk, and I came in and brought a box in while Dani was out on her cable. I come out not even 30 seconds later, and I'm like, Dani, and I look over and I see the Shepard on the ground, and then I realized, and the Shepard's fur is also my dog. So of course my stepdad's walking over, I run over, and I'm just like, stop. And Dylan is Bella's owner, had his hands in our dog mouth. Our dog's head's all bit, and there wasn't like a lot of blood or anything, but our dog's head was bit. She's got puncture wounds on her face, and on the top of her head she's got like a scrape marks. So the Shepherd had our dog's whole head in her mouth. So we obviously want these dogs apart. I didn't sleep very well. Many phone calls were made. Dylan and I talked, his mom and I talked. And I called the vet. And we're keeping Dani comfortable, clean. We still have to get some dried blood off her face, but she's not having it because she's very swollen due to the bites. And Dylan looked up at me, and he says, I'm sorry, I gotta get your dog off him. Because what happened is after his dogs had our dog in her mouth, our dog had bit his dog's side and didn't let go. That's when Dylan repeatedly started punching our dog in the head and in the neck. And my voice is gone because I was yelling for the dogs to get apart and for him to stop. And he just kept saying, I'm sorry, as he was punching our dog in the head. Dani's cable was still connected to her, and what we don't understand is that her cable's not broke. So somehow the one cable got disconnected, but the hook is still there. So I don't understand that. So this happened not either on their property or ours, but on the road, the private road, in the grass. So his dog went to the vet. He had something on his hand or his wrist, so he was seen. Our dog is up to date on all of her shots. She's actually due for her shots in August. So the vet told us, due to the things that have been happening the past couple of years, that unless it was an emergency, they're short-staffed. So they just said to keep Dani's punctures clean. We haven't seen any bites on her. I mean, it was a bite, but they're all punctures because German Shepherd's teeth are very large. I don't blame Dylan. But the sight of him punching our dog repeatedly, I can't get it out of my head. So I just wanted to get on here and explain what had happened. And thank you for all your prayers. And as many of you know, I have worried about this for a long time. I keep saying Bella's off her, she's, you know, she doesn't really get loose. Well, she does, but like he walks down to the mailbox with her off a leash. And we always say it's not going to be fair because our dog's on a cable and your dog's not even on a leash. You got to have her on a leash. So both dogs, even though Dani has her rabies shots, both dogs have to stay home for 10 days. We proved our half, you know, through our vet and through the town. I'm going to assume, being that they asked if she does have her shots, that I'm hoping Bella does too. And I'm going to assume that she does. We get along with our neighbors very well. I like them. They like us. But when something like this happens, I don't want that to ruin that. I did have to make some phone calls as advised by our vet last night to our Warren, our sheriff's department and the SPCA. The SPCA is closed. So I have a message into them. Everything's been reported, what happened on their end and ours. Because of Dylan having his hands in our dog's mouth, he did get injured on his hand or arm or something. We can't get the fence done right now. But as you all know, this is why we've been trying to do this, is because he doesn't keep her on a leash. But it happened. Who's at fault? I don't know. Our dog her cable was connected to her while they were fighting, but it was not broken. Anyways, I just thank you for all of y'all's concern and prayers. We'll see what happens from here. It's raining still, and these parts of these videos have been made throughout today, and it's somewhere around 2:30 right about now in the afternoon. I just kept yelling, stop, 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 and he just said, he kept punching our dog and saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So, that's it. Anyway, we'll take it as it comes, but we will fight for our dog if we have to, because she's been harassed by this dog for 5 years. 5 years. She comes up in our yard and just barks in our dog's face, and that's all they do is they bark. She's connected to a cable, but you can pour water on a dog when they're doing that, but they don't always disengage. He repeatedly punched our dog to get her to stop. She wasn't doing anything but just holding on because she had her whole head bit. Her face has been bit. So I've taken some videos. We've tried to clean it. But again, she's not bleeding anymore, but there's black marks, and that's dried blood because we can't get that off due to the swelling because Dani's in pain. Trying to make it fun. Dani. Hey. So I got her out on a leash in the rain, hoping to get some of that softened. We cleaned her up the best we could. Come, girl. Come. She has not yet been out potty because it's been raining all day. Many of you who watch our channel know that Dani doesn't go out in the rain. Nope. Come here, babies. Trying to get the side of her face. So she's up to date on all of her shots, and the health department did call though to let us know that both dogs need to be staying in their yards for 10 days. Although we did prove vaccination are up to date. Come here, babies. And yeah, I lost my voice because I was screaming and crying last night. Our dog and the dog up the road, it was inevitable to happen. Got into a fight, and the other dog's owner repeatedly punched our dog in the face to get her off from his dog. His dog had bit our dog's face, and then our dog bit his side, or the dog's side. So, yeah. His dog's constantly off a leash. They go down to that mailbox down there, and his dog would come up in our yard and constantly harass our dog in her own yard, where she's on a cable. We're working on that fence, as you all know. So she didn't go potty, but hopefully she will.